If you are somebody who is struggling with setting yourself goals, this video is for you. In this video, I'm not going to be teaching you how to set goals, but instead I'm going to be giving you useful tips, or I should say a starting point if you are struggling with setting yourself goals. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this channel, we discuss things that help us grow, elevate, and build the life we know we are destined for. This is where we talk about things that are going to help nurture you and make you a better and a best version of yourself. And I always say, if you feel that's you and if it's something that you want to do, then please subscribe and hop into the beginning of the most exciting and amazing journey to your elevated self. As I've mentioned, that I'm not going to be teaching you how to set goals, but I'm going to be giving you a starting point, especially if you are really struggling to set yourself goals. You don't know where to start, you don't know how to do it, or you don't even know, like, how do I set goals for myself? When you are setting your goals are a destination. It's where you want to go. So now the big question to ask yourself is, what do I want to achieve? What do I want to achieve, to attain, to have, and what am I going to do to get that which I say I want? That is goal setting. And I'm going to give you a breakdown so that you can understand that setting goals is not just wanting flashy and material things, but it involves a lot of things that makes one person whole, that makes us whole. What am I going to start doing daily, weekly, monthly, and sometimes yearly? Depends if it's a short-term or it's a long-term goal. But I want you to be able to create, first to understand what is it that you want, and then you'll come back to asking yourself, what can I do, or what do I need to do to start so that I can move in the direction of the goals that I've set for myself. So as I advised, we are not just human beings, but we are both spiritual beings. That means we have to take care of our spiritual health, our mental health, our physical health. A lot is involved, and in order for you to feel content, you will have to tackle all these areas because it's what makes you whole. So the number one thing that I want us to look, which is going to be when you are setting your goals, is to keep in mind is, what are your health goals? Your health is your wealth. It's not necessarily about money itself, but if you are not healthy, if you're not taking care of your health, both physically and mentally, spiritually, it's going to be hard for you to go after the things that you want to. So you can start there. What are my health goals? That includes your physical being. It includes the type of food that you're going to start eating, that you're going to eat more of, that you're going to eat less of, and things that you just need to cut off completely or on consuming. Maybe it may include increasing your physical movement, taking walks, exercising, stretching. It may also include getting better sleep, sleeping on time so that when you wake up you are not tired. Part of waking up tired, a lot of things may contribute into you waking up tired, but your sleeping patterns may also play a role. You can't go to sleep at 12 o'clock and you have to wake up at 4 o'clock. You have only slept for 4 hours. It's not enough. Yes, there will be days where you need to do that because there are things that you are pushing, that you are doing, but it mustn't be a habit that you are sleeping less than you should. Increase your water intake. Drink water. Water is so important. It's something that God gave us because he knew that we needed it. So take water. It may sound like a simple thing, but it makes a whole lot difference. Now, you can't take care of your body, of your physical self, without taking care of your mental health, and that is doing things. What are your mental goals? What are you going to do to ensure that you are in the right state of mind? Because it's also going to play a huge role in how fast or how effective and how committed you become in achieving your goals. And that is, I'm going to start meditating. Meditating is so important because it's going to give you that mindfulness that you need to be in the moment and to clear your thoughts. You need to start meditating. You will start journaling, putting ideas down, walk around with a journal. Don't trust your brain as a filing cabinet because it's going to disappoint you. I heard this from Dream Rowan and it sounded so nice when he was saying it until I understood it. I once had a business idea, and because I didn't write it down, that business idea went and it never came back. I've spent days, it's been months trying to remember what is it that I said I'm going to write down and look at later. I can't remember. Why? Because I thought it's so simple. I'm going to remember it and I'm going to just revisit it. But my brain said no. So don't trust your brain as a filing cabinet. Journal. Carry a journal. Write ideas down. Write your thoughts down. Write your feelings down. Write whatever it is. Write it down. You can start being grateful. That will help clear your mind. You will stop comparing yourself and you are going to see possibilities instead of hindrances. It's very important that you work on your mental health. Focus on being positive. How are you going to do that? You are going to affirm yourself. It sounds so simple and somebody may overlook this, but once you start doing it, that is when you will understand its impact on yourself and your well-being. Another aspect of your life that you may need to start looking at is having spiritual goals. We are spiritual beings and we cannot run away from that. It is so important that we also take care and nurture our spiritual selves. And that is, if you are not at peace about certain things, it's going to show. This is so closely related to the law of correspondence. As within, so is without. Sometimes your life is so chaotic on the outside because you've been ignoring your spiritual self. You haven't healed from certain things. You haven't forgiven yourself from the mistakes that you've done in the past. You haven't moved on from the things that were done to you or things that happened to you that hurt you. Try to find a lesson. Try to find a lesson. When I say try, it's because I know that we don't go through the same things. Some struggles are harder than the others, but I'm saying just try so that you can be able to move on. You are not going to move on if you still carry a lot of burden in your heart, because that means that you are crippling your spiritual self, and therefore you can't think clearly if you still have a lot that is going on. Your spiritual being and yourself, your higher self, and you are just not in alignment. You say you want better things, but you haven't nurtured your spiritual self. You need to start spending more time with your God. How do you do that? Some people pray more. To me, I pray and I also meditate. I believe that meditating is part of praying, because I believe that when I'm seated myself down, I've centered myself, I'm able to connect with my higher self. I'm able to connect with God. I'm able to connect with the universe, the power, the forces, and that is why I make sure that whatever it is that I'm thinking, it needs to be positive and it needs to be something good, because there are forces that are moving around us and they're going to pick up whatever it is that you are thinking, and the universe is going to interpret that and it's going to bring you exactly that. The power that is in what I'm about to say right now, which is another thing that I want you to look at when you're setting yourself goals, is your financial goals. What are your financial goals? Maybe you haven't invested in your financial literacy. You need to start reading books. You need to start watching podcasts on that. You need to stay informed. You need to know and take charge of your finances. You need to know about money. You need to be able to budget. I don't like people who can't budget. I don't like people who can't budget, because you will never be able to save if you can't budget. You need to have a budget, stick to the budget so that you can be able to save. So invest in your financial literacy. By doing that, it's going to give you a lot of power and a lot of control over your life and your finances. Financial literacy will lead to financial freedom. It's going to introduce you to a lot of things that you didn't know, some that you did know, but now that you are investing your time in executing and doing this, it's going to be an eye-opener. Like, especially if you're a lady, you need to take control of your finances. You need to take control of your finances. And the reason I'm smiling is because I am not perfect at it. I'm not 100% better at it, but the little that I am doing has changed my life. I do not want to lie. It has changed my life. Being able to control your finances is also what's going to give you confidence. And I'm in control of my finances, and I know that I'm safe. Because let's be honest, money makes the world go round. If you don't budget, if you don't save, you are just in one hell of a mess. Because if something happens right now, you're just going to be bumping around, even calling people fake friends. Money is your friend. I once said The money you save today will save you tomorrow. So being in control of your finances is going to open your world to a lot of possibilities. You're going to start realizing if you need to supplement your income, but you are not making enough. Those side hustle ideas are going to come when you are taking charge of your finances. You are investing in your financial literacy, and you are setting yourself some financial goals. It's going to grow you so much in a way that you will not even imagine. So ladies, we are going all in setting our financial goals and investing in our financial literacy, and you're just going to gradually grow into the next big thing and the next big thing. Don't be too hard on yourself. You may just start with a boring, because this sounds boring, and it is boring. Trust me, it is boring. Here is another question that is going to help you, especially if you are struggling to set yourself goals. Is what are your career goals? It's going to differ if you are already within the workforce, or if you are somebody who is still at varsity at college. But you may have to ask yourself, what is it that I need to do to become more valuable? Do I need to find a mentor, somebody to hold my hand, somebody to learn as much as I possibly can in order for me to become more valuable and to gain more skills, so that it's easy for me to move around, and with not just within the company that you are in, maybe in other companies. When opportunities come, you are prepared because you have been working on yourself, you have been working and honing certain skills and gaining certain knowledge. That may be something that you may need to just look at. The next one is your relationship goals. It could be a relationship with yourself, it could be with your spouse if you're in a romantic relationship, or a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, or with your family, with your siblings. Maybe you're not communicating as much as you should be, you're not connecting, you haven't stayed in touch, you spend so much time without them, without checking up on one another. You may start like once a week, or once every 2 weeks. I'm going to set time where I'm just checking up on people that I love, and even if it's just 30 minutes, and just try to allocate the 30 minutes alone amongst those people, it will be very helpful. You need to nurture your relationship, not just with people whom you're going to gain something, but your family is very important. If you have a spouse, it doesn't matter what type of relationship, but you need to ask yourself, what are my goals when it comes to relationship? You know the type of relationships that you have. It's very important that you start looking at that and start working on that. As I've mentioned before, that these are little chunks, and they may seem boring, and we often overlook them because they seem like they're so unimportant. But trust me, once you start doing them and trying to strike a balance between them, you're not going to always show up 100% to each and every one of them. But if you can just allocate 5%, 2%, 3%, try to just juggle things around and show up when you have to, and try to strike a balance. I hope this was helpful. I hope it's a very good starting point to look at as to, I'm trying to set goals, but where do I start? Ask yourself, what are my relationship goals, my career goals, financial goals, spiritual goals, my health goals? I may not have mentioned all that I was supposed to, which is why I'm always open in the comment section. Share what is it that you are doing, what has helped you in setting your goals, the questions that you have asked yourself. I hope to see you on the next video. Bye.